The next topic is input and output device. This is a very important topic in computer awareness, and in this particular topic these type of question can be asked in your exam. Okay, the first one is identifying input output devices. The second one is usage or function of each device, and the third one is question on the specific device. Okay, so these are the three categories of question which you need to know from this particular chapter. Okay, so the very first and very foremost is identification of input output devices. Student, as you can see, this topic is very common, very important in all the examination like SSC CGL, CHSL, RRB technician, JEE banking, whatever the name you can take, you will find one question from this particular topic. Okay, and this is a very easy topic, and this is a table that will be your key for answering these questions. Okay, commonly we have seen questions from these input devices, these output devices, and some devices which work as both input as well as output devices. Okay, and we are going to see detail in the upcoming slide. For time being, you just have a look on all these input and output devices, and if you know, well and good. If you don't know, just remember what are the input devices and what are the output devices. The details of each and every device, as I told you, we will be going to cover in another few minutes. Okay, and in the input device, these are the two input devices which are very commonly asked in the exam: keyboard and mouse. And in output device, you will have questions on monitor and printer. Commonly, generally, these devices are very important from the exam point of view. Okay, so as all of us knows that input devices are the devices which are used to send data or instruction to the computer. In the basic of the computers, we have seen there are input devices, there is one CPU, and afterwards we have one output device. Okay, so input devices, as we have seen, these are the devices which are used to send or data instruction to the computer. Okay, so all these input devices are generally used to send data or instruction to computer. Like if you see keyboard is used to send the text to the computer, whereas mouse, touchpad, joystick, trackball, all these are pointing device. Okay, so they are pointing to something on the screen, so they are sending some data or instructions to the computer. Okay, there are many other input devices that we are going to see. Okay, coming to the output device, it is the reverse of input device. Input device is used to send the data instruction to the computer, where output device are used to receive and display the result of computer processing. Okay, so these are the example of output device. Like if you take monitor, whatever the screen you are watching on your mobile or television, that is output device. It is a result of some computation. Okay, and generally these monitor output is called soft copy. Okay, because you cannot touch, you cannot feel. Whereas if you take the printer, where when you give a printout, that is a hard one, hard copy. Okay, which you can touch and feel. So that is the result of the computer processing. Okay, and there are certain input and output device like modem, touch screen, fax machine, headset. We are going to see in the upcoming slide. I will hold till now. Okay, so let's see. The next one is keyboard, and we have seen keyboard is very important input device, a very common input device, and it look like this. You have seen in all the computer accessories, you have seen this device, a very commonly used, and it is used to enter text, character or command into a computer. So whenever you press a key, some character is sent to the computer or some command is going to send into the computer. Okay, so there are many keys. Some keys are used to send the characters, some keys are used to send numbers, some keys are used to execute some command, which we are going to see in detail in this particular slide. Okay, and very commonly asked in exam is the number of keys. So there is a standard key. Standard means which is commonly used in everywhere. Okay, so those are standard keyboards, and a standard keyboard, student, remember there are 104 keys, 104 keys, and this question was asked in SSC GE. So this keyboard will have a 104 keys. Okay, and we will give brief of each keys in the upcoming session, and you know that sometime he will ask you key related question that we are going to see in upcoming minutes. Okay, so coming to another important pointer is a keyboard layout. Okay, these are the keyboard layout means how these keys are arranged. Okay, and QWERTY, QWERTY, is the most commonly keyboard layout used in the keyboards. Why it is called QWERTY? If you see the characters QWERTY, okay, so that's why it is known as QWERTY keyboard. Whereas one more keyboard is AZERTY keyboard, where instead of Q, A is there. It is used in the French computer keyboard. Okay, and DOAC is another keyboard layout which is very less common and we have not seen anywhere. Okay, but you can ask me why QWERTY. It can be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So some people says that why they have put QWERTY in such a manner that it will be very difficult for the very common person. Okay, so the main thing is that it should be purely related to some technical person. Okay, so the arrangement of this key will be very difficult for a common man or layman to type these words, because these are jumbled up words in fact. So these are arranged in such a manner that a common person cannot use. But in fact nowadays if you see, everybody is very handy in using these computer. Okay, so QWERTY is a most commonly used keyboard layout nowadays. Okay, so these two keyword, QWERTY and 104 keys, you should remember. These are generally asked in exam. The next important pointers are related to keys. Okay, so there are many keys in this particular keyboard, and the very important one is alphanumeric key. Alphanumeric, as the word suggests, alphabets from A to Z. So if you see, these are the alphabets. Okay, and numbers are there from here to here, 1 to 9, 0 to 9. So 10 numbers are there, 26 alphabets are there. And you should remember that shift, when these keys are shift with the shift key, these keys are combined with the shift key, are used for obtaining the capital letter or the corresponding symbols. Okay, so if you see, there are certain other symbols, like in place of 2 you have one @ symbol. So if you press shift along with this key, you will have @ symbol, and the bottom one if you press, it will be directly. Understood? If you press state the key, this one, you will get 2, but if you combine with shift, you will get the character above this key. Okay, let's see the next keys are the function keys. This is very important, student, and in exam they will ask you how many function keys are there. Okay, so remember there are 12 function keys, and as you can see, these are on the top, F1 to F12. So there are 12 function keys. As the word suggests itself, these are function key. Function means they are going to perform some function, they are going to perform some task. Okay, and commonly, if in most of the operating system, you will have these functions. Like generally if you press F1, it will be for the help, whereas if you press F2, it is used for renaming any file or any folder. And a very common and a very important one is Alt plus F4. If you want to close some window, it is Alt plus F4. So if you are combining Alt and F4 key, and the application would be closed. And again, a very important one is spell check in MS Word, that is with F7. These are very few function keys I have told you in this particular slide, and these are very important one. Just remember it for the sake of exam. Okay. Let's see a few other keypads like numeric keypads. So if you see in this keyboard, this is the numeric keypad. Okay, these are the navigation keys. Okay, and there are certain other keys that we are going to see. Okay, so this is the numeric pad. As the word suggests, numeric keypad, so it will have numbers in it for sure. If you see your keypad, there are numbers, 10 numbers from 0 to 9, so there are 10 numbers in it. And there are some operators, some mathematical symbols like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and dot for decimal point. So 2 plus 2 4 and 1 5, so total 15. And one num lock is there. Why num lock is there? So if you press num lock, it can be turn on and turn off. Okay, so if you press off, so this number will not operate. There are some other categories inside that like home, and that will be used. Okay, so sometime he will ask you the toggle key. Okay, so num lock is one of the toggle key where you can switch from either num lock, whether the keypad will be work as a number pad or from other function. Okay, and these are 15 and one num lock 16, and the last one is to execute the command, that is enter. So 1 is there. So total 17 keys are there. Okay, and this question we have seen in RRB technician. So just remember there are 17 keys in the numeric keypad. Okay, understood? Okay, let's move to the navigation key. Navigation, as the word suggests, which is used to navigate or which are used to move the cursor in certain direction. Okay, and the very common one is the arrows keys. So you know there are 4 arrows keys. If I show you here, so these are the arrows key. Okay, so there are 4 keys: up, down, left, and right. So these are the 4 arrow keys which move the cursor to left, right, top, and down. Okay, then you have home. Home, as you know, it is used to bring the cursor at the beginning of the line or the document, and end is used to make the cursor to go to the end or line or the document. Page and page up, which are generally used to make one screen and one screen down. Okay, okay, so the next one is the modifier keys. Okay, sometime in exam you will be asked like what keys are the modifier keys. So remember these 3 keys are the modifier keys. Why these are called modifier? Because these are used in the shortcuts. Okay, and these are used to modify certain operations. For example, in the first point we have itself says that when we used shift along with some letter, it will be a capital letter. Okay, when it is held down. Okay, so it is modifying the operation. The next one is control, which I already told you, it is used in the shortcut, whereas alt key is the alternate function, like alt plus tab is used to switch the windows. There are many other operations with which you can do the operations, but these are known as modifier keys. So these 3 keys, remember, shift, control, and alt, are known as modifier keys. Okay, then we have some special purpose keys like escape is used to cancel the operation, enter is used to execute the command, which nowadays everybody is computer savvy and they can easily know all these keys. Okay, so tab is, as you know, it is used to move the cursor forward. Backspace is very important. Why it is very important? Because it deletes the character before the cursor, whereas delete command is used to delete the character after the cursor. Okay, so that is the difference between these two. And one important thing is that spacebar is the longest key in the keyboard. Okay, and he can ask you in exam which are the toggle keys, so you should remember it is caps locks and num lock. The purpose we have already seen in the previous slide. Okay, so cap lock, as you know, it is used to toggle the caps lock letter, okay, capital letter. So if you press caps lock, the whatever the key you are going to enter, it will be in capital letter. If you turn it off, it will be lower letter case. Okay, and num lock we have seen it is used to toggle the numeric keypad on and off. Okay, coming to the next important input device is the pointing device. Okay, so there are many pointing devices. In fact, these are the input device, and the very important one is the mouse. Okay, and you should remember, and it is very commonly asked in exam about the inventor. So who had invented this mouse? It is Douglas Engelbart in 1963. Okay, he was from America. Okay, the name you should remember, Douglas Engelbart. Okay, and as you know, there are three types of mouse are there: wireless, mechanical and optical. Previously in the early days, mechanical mouse were used, and later after optical mouse were used. Nowadays wireless mouse are used. With the help of Bluetooth, you can able to connect with your PC and you can do the mouse operations. Okay, and a mouse, all of us knows that there are different clicks like right click, left click, double click and drag and drop. These are the four actions with which you can operate with the mouse. Okay, coming to very important property of the mouse is the click lock property, and this type of pointer we have seen in RRB JE, where he asks you about the click lock property. So what is click lock property? It is used to drag without holding the mouse. Okay, so if you just there is one roll button, if you just click it, it will be drag automatically without holding the mouse. Okay, that's why it is called click lock property. If you're not understanding this property, you can check in your computer, you will get to know. Okay, the next important pointing device is joystick, and generally he will ask you which of the input device is used in video games or simulation software. This is other way around of asking the question. Okay, so from the specific function wise, your answer would be joystick. Joystick are commonly used in video games and the simulation software. So this is a joystick. You can see it is again a pointing device. So one handle is there which you can move and point the direction to whatever you want. Okay. The next one in trackball, it is commonly used in radar computer or some other special purpose computer. Again, it is a pointing device. It will give some operations. Okay. The next one is a light pen. Nowadays, like I'm writing on the screen with the help of light pen, which is used to draw or write on the screen. Like the way I am using it is basically a light pen. Okay, so this is the light pen. It is wired one, but right now I am using the wireless one. Okay. So the next input device are the readers. What do you mean by readers? These are the readers like barcode reader, optical mark reader. Okay, so barcode reader as a word itself suggests which reads barcode. Bar are these lines, these are bars, and it has a hidden code in it. Okay, So sometimes there are some numbers written over it like 1 2 7 6 5. So this code is written in the form of bar. Okay, and this printed barcode are generally representing the universal product code. Okay, so the universal product code is embedded in the barcode, and with the help of barcode reader you read this number instead of typing. Suppose it is say 20-digit number. Instead of manually typing, you are reading through the barcode reader, and as you can think like that, there are 20 characters. So if you have a very good speed, you may take 10 seconds or maybe 5 seconds, but with the help of barcode reader you can just get the information, just get the input within 1 second. Okay, so that's why they are commonly used in supermarkets. Okay, so you have seen the supermarkets like whatever the client, they will be having one device which is used to read the barcode on the products. Okay, the next one reader is optical mark reader. As all of you students know that in the OMR sheet we generally used to fill the rounds. Okay, so you have OMR sheets where you need to fill the answers. Okay, you just mark those or fill those OMR sheet with your pencil. So as you know that this marking are used to detect the marks on the paper. Okay, so basically it works like that. So whatever the obstruction is there, it is used to identify. Okay, basically it is used to detect the marks on the paper, the specific density of mark it will check on the paper. That paper are generally called OMR sheets. Okay, and the device, as you can see, this is one device. This is called OMR, optical mark reader, or sometimes it is known as optical mark recognition. Okay, so these are the two readers, very input device which are generally asked in the exam. The next reader is the optical character reader, which are OCR. Okay, so if he asks what is the full form of OCR, it is optical character recognition. Okay, and as you know, these are used for scanning the printed page and translating into some text. Okay, basically like there will be one page, and with the help of some OCR software it is used to recognize the text in that particular page. Okay, that is called optical character recognition. So suppose if I have written like A and B. Okay, so with the help of optical character recognition software, he will identify that this character is A, this character is N, this character is B. Okay, so OCR software is required for optical character recognition. The next one, a very important one, is we have seen in the CHSL. The first one is the full form. Okay, the full form is magnetic ink character reader or recognition. Okay, so just remember, magnetic ink character recognition is the full form of MICR. And if you have seen the checks, so these checkbook have these kind of numbers. Okay, and these characters, whatever you see in the checkbook, have a special ink which contain the iron particles. Okay, so this special ink which is used in the check, which have some iron particles, and with the help of this machine they get magnetized and the numbers are identified. Okay, and this is generally used to process the checks at the banks. So this type of question we have seen in SSC CGL. What are used in bank to process the check? The answer should be magnetic ink character recognition. Okay, so MICR are used in bank to process the check. Okay, got it? So let's see the next input device, that are scanners. So as you know, scanner is the input device. So what will be the input? It is the physical documents. Okay, It can be anything, your printout or any image which you regard as a hard copy. Okay, so any physical document which you want to convert into digital format, that is soft copy, for that the scanners are used. So scanner is the input device. Okay, and the types you should remember, there are three types: flatbed, sheet fed and handheld scanner. As a word suggests, flatbed. So if you see, this is a flatbed, so the flat surface is there, you just put your physical document into that and scan, and the digital image will be transferred to your computer. Similarly, the second one is a sheet fed, where you feed the sheet from the top or the bottom, and the paper is fed into the scanner, and it scan and store the image or the digital copy into your computer. Handheld, you have seen the Camtasia, okay, with the help of which you just scan with the help of the handheld scanner, and the page get converted into the digital format. So these are the three scanner type which are generally asked in the exam. The other input device which I am putting in separate class are the microphone. A very easy one, as you know how it is the input device, because it captures the audio input. So like whatever the way I am talking to you is with the help of microphone, so it captures my audio and storing it to the computer. So as you know, my voice is analog and it is going to store in the digital format. So whatever the information which is going to store in computer will be digital form. Digital, as you know, it is bits like digital 1 and 0. Okay. The other input device is a webcam. Instead of audio input, video input will be captured, and the other input devices are the biometric devices, which are used to scan the fingerprints, retina, or any facial identification which make the person authenticated. Okay, nowadays for attendance, these biometric devices are used. So these devices are used to identify the verification. Okay. So we have seen all the input devices. Now let's see the output devices one by one. And the first and the foremost important one is the monitor. So the first thing you should remember, it displays the visual output. Okay, that is known as a soft copy. Okay, which you cannot feel. It is just a visual output on the screen. Okay, and these monitors are also known as visual display unit. In short, these are known as VDU, and this question was asked in SSC CHSL, where they ask like which of the following is also known as monitor. So the answer will be VDU, visual display unit. And as you know that like monitors are of two types, monochrome monitors and color monitors. Nowadays everything is color, so color monitors are now prominent in the market, whereas in the early days monochrome means only one color, mono means one, chrome means color, so only one colors are there, that is black and white. These are commonly black and white computer, these are color monitor. And a very important one is the resolution. Okay, so like nowadays everybody knows, because we are in the digital age, resolution is the number of pixels on the screen. Okay, remember, resolution is the number of pixels on a screen. What do you mean by pixel? Pixel, remember student, it is the abbreviation of the word picture elements. Okay, he can ask you in the exam, what is pixel? It is a picture element, and it is the smallest part of the image or display. And this pointer was asked in RRB JE. So if you have one image, so this is my image, and this image is made up of very small picture element. The smaller the one, the smaller will be the clarity. Okay, clarity will be huge, sorry, and these small element are called picture element. Okay, and these are not visible. If you go to the early and very old computer, you will see this picture resolution very easily. Okay, so pixel is a picture element and it is the smallest part of the image or display. And in SSC CGL, sometime he will ask you about the full form or the types. Okay, CRT, TFT, LCD and LED. Okay, so these are the popular type of the monitor, and the full form you should remember. Okay, the function wise all are the monitor types, but the technology is used in different type of monitor. Okay, so like cathode ray tube, cathode rays were used for displaying the image or the visual. Okay, so CRT is cathode ray tube, TFT is thin film transistors, where LCD is liquid crystal display and LED is light emitting diode. So all these three have different technologies to display the image or on the screen. Okay, so these are the commonly used monitors. Coming to the next important output device is the printer. So printer is opposite of monitor, which prints the data, that is soft copy, onto the paper, that is hard copy. So the output of the printer is generally hard copy because it is printed on the paper. Okay, and these are the speed of the printers. Okay, sometime he can ask you, okay, pages per minute, line per minute and characters per second, CPS, LPM and PPM. Okay, and just remember a very important terminologies. It is DPI. Okay, what is DPI? Dots per inch. Okay, so whenever you are printing any paper or you are giving some print, the print is measured with the help of DPI. So how many dots are per inch? For example, this is your paper. Okay, so you have some image over it. Okay, so in 1 inch how many dots are there? It is similar to like pixel, but since it is a hard copy, these are known as dots. Okay, so dots per inch is used to measure the print quality. Okay, so DPI is related to printer. Okay, so this question we have seen in RRB technician and JEE. So dots per inch is the terminology related to the printer. The next one are the types of printers. Sometime in exam you will have the question from the impact printer and non-impact printer. So as a word itself suggests impact printer, which are going to impact on the paper. How it is going to impact on the paper? With the help of pins and hammers which get pressed on the ink ribbon against the paper. Okay, so you have seen the typewriter, it is similar to the typewriter. Okay, so as you can see, like there is a paper and some hammer will be put on that hammer has character in it, so that character will be imprinted on the ribbon is generally of the black color, so it will make an impression on the paper. Okay, so those are called impact printer. And in the banking exam, generally the types are asked. There are 4 types basically: dot matrix, daisy wheel, line printer and dumb printer. Okay, so how it is going to print, that is the thing it classifies. Okay, in daisy wheel printer, again hammer will be used, but it will be a wheel, it will be round wheel, and all the hammers will be like a daisy flower. Okay, so the hammer will be thrown onto the paper. Similarly, line printer, it will be used to print a line with the hammer. Okay, drum printer, it will be having a large drum, over that hammer will be placed. So the basic philosophy remains the same, that hammers are going to use against the ribbon on the paper. Okay, let's see the non-impact printer. Instead of impact printer, nowadays non-impact printer are very popular, and these printer use electrostatic, chemical and inkjet technologies. And in other words, they do not hit or impact the ribbon to print. Okay, so they use electrostatic, chemical and inkjet technology. Okay, and there are basically three types of a non-impact printer. So generally he can ask you which of the following is a non-impact printer. Your answer would be of these three. Okay, commonly one is the laser. So this is a laser printer, this is the inkjet printer, and the third one is a thermal printer. Okay, coming to the plotter, so it is the next a very important output device, and in exam it is asked like this, like which of the output device is used to draw map or engineering blueprint. Okay, so the answer would be plotter, and again in some cases he will ask you the types. Okay, so these are the two types, drum and flatbed. Okay, so these are the two type of plotter. Okay, so this is a flatbed plotter. Okay, coming to other output device, the very easy one is a projector. So in school and colleges during the seminar we use projectors, where a computer screen is displayed onto the large screen or the wall. Okay, it project whatever the screen on the computer is going to display same on the large screen. Okay, it is generally for the larger audience. The next output device is a speaker. So what output it gives? It gives the sound. Okay, so now like your mobile has right now sounds from it is from the speakers. Okay, next one is a headphone. Headphone, again it gives the output, but not to everyone. It is private audio output. Okay, so again this is an output device. Okay, remember, headphone is used to produce the private audio output. Okay, we are left with the both input and output devices. Okay, so whatever the things we have seen till now are input devices, output devices. Now we are going to see both input and output devices. So the very first and the very foremost important one is the modems. Okay, so the full form you should remember, it is modulator and demodulator, and this question is very important for all the exam like SSC, CGL, RRB, JEE, NTPC. We have seen in every exam. So the full form is modulator and demodulator. So what does this divide does? It is basically used to send or receive the data through telephone lines. Okay, so generally we use for the internet, but it can be used for other purpose also. Okay, so remember, it uses a telephone line to send the data, input and output. How? So if this is your modem, okay, it is used to send the data and it is used to output the data. So, okay, so input is also there, output is also there, so it works as both input as well as output. The next one is a touch screen. Okay, so as a word itself suggests, it is a screen, so it is an output device. Whatever the screen on your mobile phone which you are touching right now, it is both input as well as a output device. While so input is received via touch, where output is via display. Okay, so in this way touchscreen is both input device as well as a output device. The next one is a headset. So as you know, headset has both a speaker and microphone. So speaker act as output device, whereas microphone act as an input device. So headsets are both input and output devices. And the next one is a fax. So the full form is facsimile. So fax, as you know, it is used to send or receive the document through telephone line. It is similar to modem, but modem is used to send or receive the data, whereas fax is used to send or receive the documents. Okay, so in administrative office, this fax machine is very popularly used because it is used to send or receive the document, obviously through telephone lines. And the last one and a very important one is NIC, that is network interface card, which is used to send data over the network. Okay, it is again an input and output device. Okay.